Hello and welcome to episode 34 of Sequel Pitch. The podcast in which four film enthusiast friends write sequels to movies that don't have them, and the host picks the best one. And that is a tongue twister, that one. My name is Ross, and I'm the host this week. Joining me, as ever, is the guy that has more confusing pitches than Cyrus's plan in this movie. It's Andy Henry.
Made sense to me. Maybe that's just me. But everything made sense.
And with him is a man that can... and with him... No, I'm not going to do a serial killer thing, don't worry. With him is a man that can pull a plane out of a ditch easier than like 12 men. It's Matt Rushton.
You're damn right. 700,000 pounds, whatever it is that they weigh.
Yeah.
Easy.
Now, there is one voice missing from tonight's record, or today's record, depending on when it, or this morning's record, whenever you listen to it. It's Drew. Drew can't be with us at the moment because he's not feeling great, so... Get well soon, Drew.
Get well soon, Drew. We miss you.
So the pictures are going to be a little bit different. Not really that different, but there's going to be a little... Well, it's just basically head-to-head.
Well, no one logs on for Drew, do they? So it's fine.
Yeah.
Me versus
so you've
you.
got the best of Yeah.
Yeah, we've got head-to-head this week. It's going to be more brutal.
So today... we are going to be pitching sequels to the 1997 classic action movie Con Air. So if you haven't seen it... I do, or we do, a 60-second synopsis or thereabouts, and I hope it's quicker than beating a plane in a car. So I think it should. I mean, it probably will be. So let's go. Honorably discharged Army Ranger Sergeant Cameron Poe returns home to his pregnant wife. However, he is given a 10-year prison sentence for accidentally killing a drunk man who was just being a dick for some reason. 8 years later, Poe is paroled and boards a flight to Alabama on a plane called Jailbird, a prison transport plane. Accompanying him is his diabetic cellmate, Mike Baby Odell. Most of the inmates boarding the flight are being transferred to a supermax prison. Mass murderer Billy Bedlam, Johnny 23, Baka, Diamond Dog, and professional criminal Cyrus the Virus Grissom are some of the inmates. The flight is overseen by U.S. Marshal Vince Larkin, who is approached by DEA agents Duncan Malloy and Willie Sims. Willie Sims plans to go undercover to get information from drug kingpin Francisco Sinado, or Sinadino,
that guy.
Whatever. That guy, who is being picked up en route. After taking off, inmate Pinball sets another prisoner on fire, which allows Grissom and the Diamond Dog to take over the plane. They land the plane. They plan to land at Carson Airport as scheduled, pick up and transfer other prisoners, and then fly off to a non-extradition country. Sims tries to retake control, but Grissom kills him and takes his gun. The plane arrives at Carson City and the inmate exchange commences. The ground crew are unaware that the hijackers are disguised as guards for some reason. Don't really know why. It's because they got helmets on or something. It's because they got little goggles on.
Yeah, and it's a sandstorm, remember?
Yeah, it's a good thing that there was a sandstorm at that specific
moment.
Everything. Yeah. So, wait, hold on. Oh, yes, I found it where I was. The ground crew, unaware that the hijackers are disguised as guards for some reason, and the real guards forcibly disguised as inmates, gagged to prevent them from revealing the scheme. Amongst the new passengers are Sinidino, Swamp Thing, and Garland Green, the weird serial killer. Authorities learn about the hijacking when they find evidence in Grissom's old cell and a tape recorder planted by Poe on one of the disguised guards, but are unable to stop the plane from taking off. Meanwhile, Pinball disposes of the plane's transponder, but dies trying to reboard the plane taking off. The inmates plan to land at Lerner Airport, an abandoned desert airstrip, and transfer onto another plane. Fuck me, there's so many planes in this fucking film. Poe finds Pimble's corpse trapped in the landing gear, writes a message to Larkin on the body before throwing it out and it landing on a car, you know. Larkin learns of the news and heads to Lerner, beating a plane in a car. He also gets the National Guard to meet him there. Bedford discovers Poe's identity when reading his parole letter and finding the toy bunny Poe intends to give his daughter, forcing Poe to kill him. The jailbird is grounded at Lerner with no sign of the transfer aircraft. Poe warns the others of Sinado's past acts of deceit and betrayal, and thus Grissom orders the others to fuel up the plane and get ready for takeoff. Poe leaves to find Baby O a syringe to give him some insulin, meeting Larkin and informing him of the situation. They discover Sinado's plan to escape on a hidden private jet, which Larkin sabotages. Grissom executes Sinado by igniting the plane with the worst line ever. Green encounters a little girl, but resists the urge to kill her. Maybe he's found God or something. Meanwhile, Johnny 23 spots a National Guard convoy and approaches and gives them alarm to prepare an ambush. As the National Guard arrive, loads of them die. You think that Poe would have told Larkin, but nah, it doesn't need to bother. There's a firefight. Yeah, the National Guard take out a lot of inmates. The surviving inmates flee back into the jailbird and take flight. Poe's identity is revealed when Bedford's body is found. Grissom is about to execute him and Baby O when Larkin and Malloy arrive in her attack helicopters, damaging the jailbird's fuel tank. Swamp Thing is forced to land it on the Las Vegas Strip for some reason, causing mass destruction and killing Johnny 23. Grissom, Diamond Dog, and Swamp Thing. This is so weird when you say their names.
Yeah.
Just like, escape on a fire truck pursued by Poe and Larkin on a police motorbike. The chase leads to the deaths of all three escapees. Poe meets his daughter for the first time and gives her the bunny in a really awkward scene. As the surviving inmates are apprehended, the only one unaccounted for is Garland Green, who gambles in a casino. Now a new man. God.
Apparently.
Yeah, he's a new
Religion,
man.
baby.
Yeah, you forget
He got
all
religion
of
off
his
of
Power
one-
of Christ
One
compels
song,
you.
2 lines of a girl, and he's like, "Oh fuck, where was this all my life?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, what did we think of this? So, if you want to, you can listen to what we thought live in our bonus episode of this. We did a watch along, a commentary along thing, where you can hear us and you can also watch it along with us. You can hear that live. Now, we didn't like it that much. It is incredibly cheesy. It is very 90s, but it's not in the same vein, I feel, as like the classics, like, you know, Commando that we've done before. I feel
no, definitely not. That's a whole other cheese and a whole other genre. I want to say this is almost I don't know. I kind of want to say it's crossing that line between, is it taking itself seriously or does it know it's like not a flat out comedy, but
yeah.
I think it knows it's very cheesy and it's supposed to be big budget and silly, but sometimes it kind of does walk that line quite well. Where we're like, Arnie's, you are just like, oh, they know.
They know, yeah. Whereas this one, I think, you would have probably forgiven it had they gone full bore, this is mad.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I don't know, it's incredibly misogynistic, racist.
I forgot how much
sexist,
homophobic,
that
transphobic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
like a lot.
Anti-police.
You could say it's kind of like in the characters who are saying it, that it's within their dialogue. It's kind of what they would say, and you could kind of not agree, but accept that. But it's still uncomfortable to watch.
Can't accept it.
You're like,
Especially
somebody
because you
knows
know
that the problem
Yeah.
is
somebody
wrote
that
this.
wasn't who's not a criminal, who's not like any of those, that they actually sat down and wrote that. What did we think? Anyway, let's go for Matt first.
Like, it is so cliche Nicolas Cage. Like,
yeah.
I think its only redemption is pretty much Nicolas Cage through most of it just being so unintentionally entertaining with how flat his delivery was. You know, like, he was the inspiration for so many actors thinking if he can make it, then fuck me, so can I. It turns out it's not the case.
Accent.
But
yeah, I don't know what accent it is, but it's not from Alabama. So
yeah,
it's somewhere.
On,
it's like you've given a British lad an American accent, said just do American.
Yeah.
Well, okay. But yeah, it has some all right action in it. Some of the sequences, like the. I don't know. No, I don't know why I'm trying to give it positives. There isn't really much to take from this. John Cusack's pretty good in it.
Yeah, I mean they're very overacty in it. Like, I know that it's an action movie, so they've got to be. But I found when watching it with you guys, I was like, why is everyone shouting so much? Everyone's just like, I gotta, blah, blah, blah.
I guess they got to keep the energy. The scenes that don't have action and they're not in the helicopters yet, they've got to be shouting to keep that energy up. But I guess better dialogue could have done that rather than just some of the lines that, like Nick Cage said in this, just don't make sense. I don't know how this guy got paid to write these lines, or if Nick Cage just got he started to remember one line and then remembered another line from like another act and just kind of smushed them together. And
but also the story as well doesn't make any sense. Like when I was reading the synopsis, I was like, what is the plan to take the plane to another plane, to get that plane to then go to another plane, to pick up some more people in the plane, then to go back to the plane, and then get the plane to go to another plane with the plane?
And then they go to an island and they have sex with lots of women, I think, is the plan.
Yeah.
And drink
and
lots
of
probably.
I think.
They don't think a plane landing onto an island or anything like that would, people might notice. Just be like, oh, there's a fucking plane.
Not this island. This is
not
John Malkovich's
Not
island.
Malkovich. He's got his own island.
There are some good lines that are mixed in with this awful, or the awful lines.
Yeah.
Like put the bunny back in the
box,
box or whatever. And
oh god, you have to say the worst. Anara. Oh.
What if he didn't say?
Yeah. What if he just got there quicker? And you want Cyrus? Like, no, go back up. Just.
Can you just say "sigh," please? I've got a really good line. Hold on. Say it again.
Sigh. Anara. He's like, oh, I get it now. I'm dying.
But for an action movie, there wasn't that much. There was a couple of set pieces.
I know what you mean, and it's quite funny because I was thinking that during it, and it's basically because they confine themselves to a plane, one location where a lot of the time they are sat down. So and then they have to dig it out of the dirt. But I know. I mean, watch it again. Definitely, I remember it differently. I'm remembering it being like, if I'm honest, I thought I was going to give this like 4 stars because I remember it being like, oh, it was so good.
Well,
but
we would have had to remove you from the podcast, Andy, if you'd done that.
But it's been a while since I saw it. And to be honest, I think I was mainly remembering Face Off rather than like Con Air.
Yeah. Fair. I would have definitely watched Face Off over this.
Oh yeah, we need to watch Face Off.
Yeah. But Matt, what else did you think? Well, Andy, what else did you think? Because I've already spoken.
What else? It was, as like I say, the main thing I guess was it wasn't as good as I remember. I was really looking forward to it, and maybe just because it was just too much as well. I was kind of thinking the whole baby O insulin story plot, I guess, was just to make Nick Cage seem more human.
I did not even know that he left the plane to get insulin until I read the synopsis. Until I didn't even know that was happening. I didn't even know he was suffering that he needed. I thought because I must have switched off that he got shot or something.
Yeah, he got shot in the stomach, and then we don't know he survives. Oh no, we see him at the end. We see him at the end getting put in an ambulance, but. Yeah, just that's not needed, I guess. Again, it could have taken like 15 minutes down and focused more on Nick Cage and the action and the hair and the explosions.
But there was a lot of that, though, wasn't there? Like the female cop that was on the plane, just so that Danny Trejo could be a weird rapist the whole time. And his one plot drive was just to rape the guard. That he was
if
like,
there was no female woman, he'd be a bit stuck.
Come on.
And then he does die magically standing up whilst his arm was severed.
So that's
the
plane. The plane motor comes off and goes through the plane, doesn't it? And it goes between Nick Cage and John Malkovich.
Yeah,
I didn't see it go anywhere near Danny Trejo.
Yeah, well, yeah, I swear it
goes out
somewhere.
of the plane and then it just fucks off. It goes down the road or something. And it's funny when they pick him up and he's been sliced off by the shoulder. And it's the joke of when they pick him up, his body kind of just slides away from his shoulder. But yeah, how is he standing up? It is a very good point. So
I feel like that sums up the third act of this movie. Like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, now we're in Vegas. Oh, now we're smashing a hotel. Oh, God, someone's just died by a propeller. Oh, God, now we're chasing him on a bloody fire engine. Oh, my God.
I love you saying...
Oh, God, there's a piston that kills... What's-his-face as well. In the end, it crushes his head.
Oh,
don't know where that came from.
I don't know why he was called the Virus as well. I'm guessing just because... like the obvious, but it would have been a little bit maybe.
He's got COVID.
Yeah.
Oh
God! Oh my God! He's patient zero.
Yeah. I loved it when they were going down the strip, and Matt, you were like, "There's an airport literally like 2 miles away or something." Isn't there?
So
he's like, I can't put it down anywhere but the strip.
The airport just outside of Vegas is literally just outside of Vegas. It's a 20-minute drive, and you're in the middle of Las Vegas. Like, that's bullshit. He's like, no, I can't find it. I think it's the Quran or something airport. I can't think what it's called, but it's literally right outside the city.
That plane going down, that was a good scene. I enjoyed it.
I just feel like with Nick Cage in this movie, he doesn't feel like a hero. Like, especially in that airfield scene. So, like, he goes around trying to find Baby O some insulin, apparently.
Yeah.
But, like, and then could have warned, or could have, saved some National Guard that are getting mowed down. But he's like, no, I gotta get this insulin. And he just sort of wanders around in that scene, just sort of going from place to place, going, oh, there's Larkin. Oh, there's an old guy under the fucking truck.
I mean,
well, I think Drew brings up in the watch along where if he just mentioned to the cop at the start that Dave Chappelle was going to burn this guy, then he probably could have saved a lot of people's lives.
Everything happens because of him. It's all Nicolas Cage's fault.
Yeah. And also the plot for him to get in trouble that seriously for killing one guy after it was self-defense. They waited out in the rain for him, beat him up, and he just punched someone and accidentally killed him, right? And then because he's a war vet and he's got more skills than a normal person. They're like, we got to put you away for 10 years. He should have had John
Cusack as his lawyer. I love the way he could have definitely got him off when he was talking about. He's just like, he's a good man. It could have happened to me, to you.
Yeah, I don't know. This is funny because we usually talk a lot longer about these films, but this one is pretty cut and dry. It's not great.
To be honest, if you want like a big explosion or good just nonsense Nick Cage film, I'd say stay away from this one, but there are better ones out there.
Oh yeah,
this film that could be its only claim to reason to watch it is that it's a Nicolas Cage classic, but there's so much better, so many better Nicolas Cage classics out there than this. This doesn't even sit high in this ranking.
I might even say this is a Malkovich film more than a Cage film. I'd watch it more for John Malkovich than I would Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is good, but he's just doing there where Malkovich is it's a performance, definitely.
Oh yeah,
it's something.
Shall we go to our final thoughts, and then a score?
Yeah, I say we ain't got much, have we?
yeah. This might be the shortest episode that we've ever done.
But definitely watch our commentary, and you'll get our full thoughts.
That's it. It's worth saying we have reviewed this extensively over 90 whatever minutes that it was, and
we don't want to do it again.
That was painful enough. This is scars. We're scarred by that.
Yeah. We're just getting tortured by remembering all the stuff that was in the film.
Also, to be honest, we also saw Spider-Man, and then the next day we saw this, and I still remember more
Imagine
about
that.
Spider-Man though.
Yeah. We went from the highs of Spider-Man, No Way Home, to then the fucking plane crash that is Con Air.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have it as a fond
I say
memory.
watch it again if you honestly think it, because I did. I was one of those people who were like, oh, it's a quote unquote great movie. It's a great Friday night with a beer movie. Watch it again, and you'll just be like, meh.
Yeah. All right. What do we think, Matt? Final thoughts and a score out of 5.
Aged terribly, I think, is the only thought that I can give it. I never thought it was a great film, but I thought it was okay. And then I've watched it, and in similar ways to Wild Wild West, you know, and movies like that, it's a very specific timepiece in history, and it doesn't fit a 2022 audience, let's put it that way. My score is going to be 1.5 voice recorders that serve no purpose apart from to hit someone in the heel out of 5.
Ooh.
Nice. 1.5. Matt, can you do the scores? Because I'm rubbish at maths.
You betcha.
So that you can do the average. All right, Andy, what did you think?
Oh, I really want to recommend this. I want to give this the lowest 3 I can, but I won't. I'm gonna have to give it a 2, because maybe a lot of that is nostalgia again and just remembering it from previous years. But it's not bad. Again, if it was on TV and nothing else was on, I'd definitely probably watch it to the end. But I wouldn't go out and actively try and watch it. It's 2 frozen bodies dropping 50,000 feet onto a car and not even making a scratch.
Yeah,
and it's such
not
a
liquefying
big
at all.
point as well. If that body just obliterated, they would have been like, "Oh well, we have no idea."
Yeah, the shirt would have just been totally ruined.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have even got. Yeah, it's true. Okay, and I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna say, I agree with everything you guys have said. Like, especially Matt. I think it's not a good. To me personally, I'm a massive action fan. And I love like all Arnie's films, and I love like that ridiculous era. To me, it's not even that good. Like, it's just not very good. Like, the performances are, Malkovich is really good in it, I think. He's just playing a mental case, like, which is good. But there's some bad scripting in there, and bad lines, bad dialogue that can be very phobic to, a lot of different cultures and creeds and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give it 1 out of 5. I'm going to go even
Actually,
worse.
I want to drop mine because I'm putting on half a point for nostalgia. I want to change mine to 1.5.
Okay, 1.5. 1 and a 1 point. What did you say? 1.
Oh, 1.5 for me, and of course we have to put in the 2.5 default score for Drew. So Drew actually recommends this a lot more than all of us. Sorry, Drew.
Did he
Hope
give
you feel
it
better
2.5?
Wow.
No, but he has to because he's a middle ground.
Oh,
Because he's not
oh
here.
my God!
He's
I
not
can't
here
wait
to tell us otherwise.
Yeah,
Yeah, Drew gives it 5 stars.
I can't wait to say that to him next week. Like, why did you give it 2.5?
It's really got to mess up his scoring.
That comes out at a average of
1.63 purely because of the fact that Drew's not here to score it less. So we've come straight off the bat with Home Sweet Home Alone at 1.13 being the lowest score ever, and this comes in at our 3rd lowest score ever. I'm sure it would have been lower, but I've just done Drew dirty, so
yeah. Oh,
there you have
we
it.
are doing some classics recently for sequel pitch. The sequels that no one wants. And speaking of sequels that no one wants, I think it's time to get our sequels pitched. Because Drew's not here, we're going to do things a little differently. You two are going to go head to head with your pitches. So there can be only one winner. So you've got better odds this time. It's 50-50. So Matt and Andy, you'll be pitching your sequels, and I will pick the best one. So in case you haven't heard what we do here at Sequel Pitch.
Mm-hmm.
If not, then hello, welcome. This is Sequel Pitch. So, do you think you boys are ready?
Always born ready.
Yeah, I'm all stretched and I'm ready.
I assume that
ass.
you've really, really thought hard about these sequels, and you took a few days to come up with the idea and really flesh out the characters and really go where the movie didn't go.
Absolutely.
The first one.
I started mine, and then I realized by the end of it, Nick Cage was swinging through Manhattan, and I was like, no, I think I'm doing Spider-Man again. So.
If you do get points if you can relate it to the Ross CU, the RCU.
Shit.
That would be great. Cool.
Just start.
All right. Yeah. If you want to add Vin Diesel floating in space, that would be great.
Just in the background, he just passes the moon or something, just a T-shaped shadow.
Cool. All right. Let's go with Matt first. What is your title called? And
It's a great title.
what is your synopsis?
Okay, my title is Con Air 2 Aircon. Do you know what I've done with that? It's relevant,
No, I
though.
like
That's
it.
not
It's
just
nice.
my genius marketing techniques. It is relevant. Special Agent Vince Larkin faces an all too familiar threat as a plane transporting prisoners is hijacked by the bloody prisoners, and he needs some help.
Those bloody prisoners.
Cool. All right. Your time starts whenever you want to start.
Strap yourselves in, guys. Date 1997. We see the moon. Vin Diesel floats back. Nah, just kidding. Date 1997. We open with a young girl singing "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands" with Steve Buscemi's Garland Green. She hands him a doll and he leaves. She heads home to discover her papa still hasn't come back from work. She heads to the diner or gas station, whatever it was, to see her dad dead in the fire. She screams and cries for a while before seeing the plane take off, and her little sad face turns into a little angry face. Then there's a cool VFX moment, and we blur from the young kid's face into an adult's face, still with the same angry, similar features. I'm casting Willa Holland. If you've seen Arrow, she plays Thea Queen. Just as a heads up, that's the only casting I've done for this. So yeah, the blur clears, and we see that she's just beating on someone, and it's her prison cellmate. She's in jail. Oh, I don't know why. She's dragged off by two guards and thrown into solitary. One guard jests, "At least she won't be our problem much longer," in his most obvious Alabama accent. Which, again, there's another real classy prison guard retorts, "None of these skanks shall be." And we pan to see a row of rooms, all with the same noise and like doors, and they're all in solitary, all these women. And then we cut to the title, Con Air 2, Aircon. Then we see John Cusack's Vince Larkin. He appears on screen. He's now head of the U.S. Marshal SOG, Special Operations Group. We're reminded of his part in the first film by a framed newspaper cutting of the events of the first movie, and a small picture of him under a much larger photo of Nicolas Cage, the hero of the day. Cue exposition, he talks to some friends. We learn that there's a mission to transport the female contingency of fugitives to a new mixed-gender correctional facility out in the Mojave Desert somewhere. Yeah, probably going to end up by Vegas again, why not? So we cut to the plane and we see the lady from the opening scene. We learn her name is Ginny. She's been boarded, along with a bunch of other female prisoners. There's a similar line about how these are all lifers and some were to face the death penalty, but this is the new facility that's open, so they're being sent there. There's a bunch of quips and cool one-liners, and like we really learn about the characters and their personalities from their responses to the prison guards and all that. Maybe there's a guy in there just for some sexual tension. Why not? But there's definitely not as stereotypical as the 90s version. It's worth saying that. No racism, no stereotypes of any sort, please, writers. So yeah, then the one character we do notice in the plane, there is a guy on the plane. Two guys on the plane. Ginny smirks at one of them because he has a familiar face. Holy fucking shit, it's Steve Buscemi. Garland Green is on the plane and is dressed as a guard. Just so you know as well, a bit of filler, Cusack has an agent planted on the plane. That can be another exposition scene just to waste some time. He's got that person on the plane basically so that we can make sure that Vince Larkin finds out about the disaster some point in the movie. The plane's in the air, we've taken off, everything's fine. Jenny watches Garland and he lifts a mask from his prison guard uniform and he puts it on. 2 other guards do so too, very subtly, but we don't know their faces. They're not important. They're gonna die. They're just excess characters. Good old NPCs. Ginny's confused, and then suddenly we hear a hiss from the aircon system, and everyone passes out. In the cockpit, we see the pilot's assistant is wearing a mask, and he's just killed the pilot. He stabbed him. Everyone comes on conveniently at the same time later down the movie. They discover that the guards are now prisoners, and the prisoners are now dressed as guards. Garland steps up and explains that he promised to save his daughter, Ginny. Ginny kind of makes some weird daddy reference. Basically, they've got the most fucked up weird relationship. I thought it was very fitting. Anyway, the cons all cheer and the guards all hiss and scorn. The pilot is in a seat next to Cusack's agent. Very convenient. They fly for a bit. Exposition. Larkin's agent somehow unclips the pilot's pin in all of this exposition, and she frees her hands from her cuffs and miraculously finds a mobile in the pilot's pocket. She calls Larkin and hides the phone behind her back. John Cusack's Larkin's face drops as he hears Garland's voice and the women whooping. He orders his team to track the phone because it's 2022 and we can now track phones. They track the phone. They're heading towards Lerner Airfield. And just as they work out this, we hear a commotion from the phone. Cutting back, we see a prisoner discover the phone. And they killed the agent! Larkin rages as the phone disconnects, and he and a team drive out way quicker than the plane, and they discover that the airfield is abandoned. Only, no it isn't! It's a trap. Exactly the same theme as the first movie. It's a trap. Garland's turned it into a den for criminals without anyone knowing, and his lackeys are there and they spring the trap, kill a load of the guards, and they surround Larkin's car. He manages to make a phone call from the new in-car phone system and it's just in his phone as Hero. And he's like, it's happening again. They've got Lerner. They've got me. And he gets dragged from his car. We see the plane land and Garland and Ginny exit the plane. You're home, Garland says, and he smiles. He then sees Larkin captured by his goons. Exposition about what happened after Vegas. He became a bit of a crime lord, but doesn't kill kids anymore. He has his own now. We learn how he saw her getting arrested for murdering a boyfriend, and they become pen pals, and then their weird daddy-daughter lovers relationship comes about. Good way to slow the pace of the film, fill some time. End of it, Larkin's chucked into a makeshift cell, and Garland works out what to do with him. We can ransom him. So they set up this ransom scene very quickly. The US Marshals arrange for a meeting with a cash transfer. Everything seems very normal until we see Larkin's eyes widen, followed by a wry smile. There in front of him is Cameron fucking Poe. He's there to rescue him. Still with the long hair, he never cut it. It's so fucking long now. So long now. Right, the rest of the movie is Nicolas Cage basically kicking ass, taking down crime goons while getting Larkin to safety. He gets Larkin to safety, but then Larkin's like, no, I'm going to come with you. And they take the rest down together. They're a really sick double team. And eventually it's a showdown just between Garland and Ginny and Poe and Larkin. The good guys win. Garland and Ginny die in some weird, coupley way together. Maybe they fall into a sand grinder or something together. That sounds cute. And the ransom isn't completed. That whole bit takes 45 minutes, it's worth saying. So the end of the movie, we learn that Poe has 4 kids, all girls, and he makes another Oscar-worthy monologue about how women are just awesome, and that now he's grateful that they don't have the aircon on.
No. My favourite bit of that was you just adding in those famous machines, those sand grinders.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Some machine, a sand
some
grinder
weird
or
shit
something.
out in the desert.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a few questions now.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Do you think there's enough Nick Cage in this movie?
Yeah, I've took 40 minutes.
It seems
of Nick Cage
like
in.
there's. You think that's enough just to have him at the end? Yeah.
Well, I can't afford him for longer. This isn't going to be a big budget film. But yes, I think this is about the journey of the female character in this movie.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. Yeah. Okay. The relationship between Garland and Ginny is a bit odd, to say the least.
Yeah.
Because he's probably about, I guess, 60 or something by then.
Yeah.
Do you think this could put people off your story?
No, they're meant to hate him, really. Like, this is just to remind you that they are bad guys. Like, they're not meant to be good guys in any way, shape, or form. It's nothing about her journey. I just didn't put Nicolas Cage in for the first hour of the movie for no reason. I didn't feel like it needed him at the time. No, it's meant to just be really weird. Like, it is properly meant to be that weird. Make them really uncomfortable. And, you know, it's just uncomfortable to be on the plane. The other female characters that all sadly die without names, they're all meant to be weirded out by it. And I don't know, it's kind of a slap back at the idea that religion can cure someone that fucked up and making him fucked up again. Yeah.
And what better thing to sell tickets is to make everyone feel uncomfortable. So, would John Cusack wouldn't he personally oversee, like, who is going on the plane? And wouldn't Steve Buscemi be, like, recognizable? It's like as a guard on the plane.
There's a sandstorm. So he's got the sandstorm.
Fair. Yeah, that's clear.
Hurricane. We won't use sandstorm again. That's boring. That's been done. There's a hurricane, so they're really rushing, and he just kind of runs on the plane.
Okay, cool. That's good enough for me. It was good enough for the last movie. So, it seems like there's only one big action scene at the end of the movie. You said it was 45 minutes long. Is that? Do you think that's enough in this movie?
I think actually, in the director's cut, there is a whole other scene in the plane where the guards that have been arrested, they actually managed to break out and fight a load of the prisoners. So, like, the two guards that put the mask on earlier that I said died, it's because the guards who became prisoners killed them as like a fight back, but then they all die.
Okay, that's the end of my questions. I just add a little bit on that. I liked the use of Special Operations Group because for listeners that don't know, we have a little COD Call of Duty group called the Sequel Pitch Special Operations Group. So that made me laugh. I know that's obviously what they actually call them, but it was a nice little touch.
It was 100% intentional as well, and not at all just blew my mind when you said it. So you're welcome.
Cool. Thank you, Matt. Now on to Andy. What is your title and what is your synopsis?
My title, I'm either going to go with Con Maritime, Ferry Connection, or my favourite, I think, is going to be Con Cruiser. And you kind of got a theme I'm going for here.
I like,
my little blurb is Poe and his daughter Casey have to help transport criminals across the ocean to a new high-security prison. But when the criminals break free, Poe and Casey learn there's a deeper plan afoot.
Oh.
So we open with Casey Poe graduating from the Special Forces or Navy or Army, something. Poe and Trisha are watching proudly from like the stands. General Travis comes from the Special Forces and sees Poe, and we have some exposition about what Poe's up to now, and he's happily manages and works in a bowling alley. Travis tells Poe that they need help transporting dangerous criminals to a new high-security prison in Europe. Travis knows about Poe's experience and says he needs someone he can trust out there. Poe says he's never flown since that day, and Travis says that won't be a problem because this time they're going by boat. Poe refuses again and walks away. That evening, Casey comes home. I keep saying Casey. Sorry, it's Cassie, isn't it? Is it Cassie or Casey?
I just call her Cassie.
I'll say
whatever.
both, and then the listeners can make their mind up.
Yeah.
Cassie,
in his accent,
Cassie
you'll
comes
be
home.
fine. Casey.
Yeah. Casey. That evening, Casey comes home and says that Travis has approached her to lead the mission. Poe tells Casey that she can't do it as it's too dangerous, and Casey says she's tired of him trying to bubble wrap the world around her, and she storms out of the house. That night, Poe can't sleep, so he wakes up his wife and says he knows Travis is only doing this, so he's only doing this to make... Sorry. That night, Poe can't sleep. He wakes up his wife and says he knows Travis is only taking Casey because he knows Poe will come along, but he doesn't want Casey to go alone. Trisha says that he should start treating Casey more like an adult, but she's also scared, so she agrees Poe has to go on the boat to help Casey. The next day, as Casey's getting ready in the Army base, or the Special Forces base, Poe and Travis walk in, and Casey learns that Poe is now coming along on the mission, but he's going undercover as a criminal, and Casey will be his handler. Travis tells the pair that the boat will be supported by 4 police patrol boats full of cops and guns who are in constant contact with the headquarters. The captain on board knows what's going on, and the main criminals on board, the one with speaking parts, there's going to be more, but yeah, the one with speaking parts, and then we have a good suicide-style intro to the characters as they get on the boat like the first one. The big bad known terrorist, the big bad guy for the film is Gary Busey. He's going to be cool. He's playing a terrorist called Butcher. His sidekick is Helena Bonham Carter, called Dolly. And then, the 3 kind of main criminals who have all the speaking parts is going to be Shia LaBeouf, called Peanuts, Mike Tyson, called Larry, and Carrot Top, called Cucumber. Cucumber, because that's his murder weapon. Poe and Casey walk in last, and in front of the other criminals, she searches her dad and finds planted contraband on him. She gut punches him to show authority to the criminals and let out some of her frustration caused by her dad from earlier on. On the boat, as it's sailing, everything seems to be going well until the boat suddenly stops. The captain comes out and says there's something wrong with the engine. Some cops come off their boats and head to the engine room, and when they get down there, they open the furnace, powering the ship, and a massive fireball kills them all. Panic starts happening upstairs as Casey and the other cops try to get control. Butcher's cell is unlocked, and he starts fighting the guards and unlocking all the other cells. Chaos ensues, and the boat is taken over by the criminals. The captain comes out, and it turns out he's double-crossed the cops, and he rigged the fireball and released Butcher from his cell. Butcher then kills the captain and throws him in the furnace, because he's mad. Butcher finds the gun stashed away by the captain and hands them out to all the criminals, and they have a massive gunfight with the remaining cops in their boats. Butcher then climbs onto a cop boat when everyone's dead and radios to HQ that everything's okay, nothing to see here, everything's fine. That's when we see John Cusack back as Agent Vince Larkin, and he senses something isn't right, and he starts investigating. As the criminals start beating up the cops, Butcher gets suspicious when he sees Poe not beating Cassie, but Poe manages to talk his way out of it, and he starts to build trust with Butcher. The criminals take over the ship, and they say they're right on time to meet their rendezvous. Poe tries to fit in with the criminals and try and find out what's going on while he's trying to free Casey and the guards. He tries to get answers out of Butcher about the plan by answering questions with questions. Big Cage is trying to... I think it's quite funny. This Cage is answering questions. He's like, I don't know, why didn't you ask me, give me more information?
God.
But he soon found out to be a fraud, and there's a big fight that happens. Back with Larkin, basically through his introduction up till now, he's been investigating all this shit. And he learns that the ship and this mission has been funded secretly, and he follows clues that leads him to a presidential nominee. Larkin learns that this nominee has paid a bunch of terrorists who will free their leader, who will then perform a terrorist attack on America. He will use the fear from this attack to win the vote and become president, promising to make whoever did the attack pay. Back on the fight on the boat, there's all the criminals die, except for the main ones, as the cops regain control. But in a separate part of the ship, Butcher, Poe, Cassie, and Dolly are fighting. Butcher finds out Cassie is Poe's daughter, and Poe finds out Butcher's plan about terrorism, and they all fight. But Poe ends up getting knocked out. Casey then knocks out Dolly and stabs Butcher, but before he dies, he throws a gas canister into the furnace, causing it to explode. Casey picks up Poe, who's either half conscious, so he can run, or maybe adrenaline. Casey could pick up her dad, who probably weighs 3 times weight, and they won't run. They won't jump off the side of the boat that's closest to them. Obviously, they'll run the length of the boat, trying to outrun the fireball, and then they jump off the ship just before it blows up. As they wash up on the beach, it looks like Casey has drowned, so Poe tries to bring her back to life by telling her he shouldn't have doubted her and, learning his lesson basically through the film. Casey then spits up all the water and she's fine, but she says now the boat has been blown up and all the criminals are gone, there's no evidence to take down the presidential nominee. Poe then pulls out something from his pocket, like a bit of evidence that Butcher would have given him back in like Act 2 when he was starting to trust Poe, which is incriminating evidence for this presidential nominee. And we have a nice smile when we maybe like fade down. End scene is the presidential nominee getting sworn in because he's won, even though the terrorist thing didn't happen, he still won. And right before he gets the key to the city, we see helicopters and tanks arrive surrounding the nominee, who tries to run but is blocked by Larkin. And from behind Larkin and the guards, Poe and Casey walk out, and Poe has a quip while Casey puts him in handcuffs, and then Poe would probably knock him out, leading to a cut to black, and then credits.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Could you explain to me, this is just a random thing that I just thought of when I was reading it, what the captain was offered to free them, like to start to free Butcher, and then
he was offered lifetime supply of spaghetti. He's a mad spaghetti fan, and he was just like, "Hey, I don't want money, I don't want jewels. If you give me spaghetti, mate, I will be yours." So
nice.
Yeah, I can imagine lots. Maybe the island that Cyrus didn't get in the first one, but no, I can just imagine like just money. Just
fair. And then he gets killed anyway. So
yeah, just because Butcher's mental.
Yeah. This is just an observation. There seems to be a lot of death by fire in your movie.
Yeah.
Just why the furnace is a lot. That furnace needs to be,
it's
health and safety
all the time. Even when they're stationary, the furnace is still going.
Yeah. There was a fireball at the beginning of your movie in the furnace, and now there's a fireball at the end of the movie. Lots of fire.
A lot of fire. The boat doesn't blow up until the end, though. Obviously.
Keep it worth noting. We also watched Fantastic Four last weekend. Maybe he's just got an obsession with Human Torch.
Yeah. You alluded to other like movies. I think at the beginning. I don't know if you said it in the actual, pitch when you just said it, but when I read it, you alluded to other cons.
With the titles.
Yeah. Is that other movies that you have?
Obviously, there's going to be a third one. We've had Con Air, which is obviously in the air. This one's Con Maritime, so it's going to be on the ocean. The third one's going to be like Con Motorway, obviously, so it's something on the road.
So maybe
just
like
a trilogy waiting to happen.
Okay, cool. There isn't much of Larkin in this one. Well, he seems to have his own movie in this kind of.
Larkin is the character we don't want to follow.
So then why did you just have him in it?
It's bullshit.
Because I wanted to call back to the first one. I was going to bring in a completely new like kind of cop, but I was like, no, let's have Larkin. Let's check in on him and stuff. And then I guess I didn't mention it at the end, but when Poe comes out from behind Larkin when he's kind of cornered the presidential, that's that kind of like reminiscent. They have like a handshake and they'd be like, hey, I trust you still. So yeah,
there's now 4 people I trust.
Yeah, 2 of those are you.
Yeah. Okay, I feel that you have a lot of I think in your pitch you have the nostalgia right, but do you think it's too generic or cliche?
No, I think the characters. The reason I went for such like out of the box characters and actors, I think, is because they will bring a lot of new stuff to it. I purposely went for a nostalgia plot, but new actors that will bring new stuff to it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Carrot Top.
Carrot Top is just he's waiting
famous
for that
comedian.
waiting for that Oscar performance, and this might be it. We had Dave Chappelle on in Con Air, so I was like, well, what's another highly underrated...
Carrot Top from like the popular comedian from the 90s.
Yeah.
Like Carrot Top.
I gotta say, we haven't got much money. I think Matt knew this as well. We haven't got much money to make the sequel, so we've literally scraped the bottom of the barrel. No offense to Helena Bonham Carter, but...
Or Carrot Top. Yeah. Okay. I can't wait to see Carrot Top in your movie.
Him being threatening would be something else, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Cool. that's all my questions asked. They're only little things, but I think we've got enough time to have you two argue against each other. Pick holes, pick whatever you want. You've got like 10 minutes to convince me. I mean, we won't do 10 minutes. But
10 minutes around.
Yeah. Try to convince me that I should pick yours.
Okay, I want to start. Like, one thing I did like, Matt was like, "This is about the female journey in this movie." What is this female journey? In this movie? Then she meets Steve Buscemi and then like dies at the end. What is this journey that she goes on?
Well, it's a plane full of females, so progressive film. This is a progressive film. There's lots of women in it.
The females
Expendables.
Yeah.
Why not have Nick Cage? I know you had him in 40 minutes at the end, and that's fine. But I'm not watching Con Air for John Cusack.
No, that is bullshit. Like I said this in the review bit. This isn't even a good Nicolas Cage film. The first one. It's not a good film, full stop. But it's not even a good Nicolas Cage film. So therefore, I'm not going to make a sequel that's a Nicolas Cage film. This needs to be completely spun. So it's a John Cusack movie with support of Nicolas Cage. So that way, at the end of the second one, he's the much bigger picture in the newspaper, and then they've evened out, and they're both heroes.
Like that as well. Who programmed Hero onto his phone? Was that him or Nicolas Cage?
I don't know. Why not?
I love the idea either way. It's just him going, I secretly do like him, and he is a hero. The bigger picture over here was good as well. That kind of got me.
You see, there's some really thought out small moments in this movie. I might not thought the big shit out, but I've thought out the small shit. All right, what you've just done is gone, burn everybody. I'm a fucking arsonist.
Yes,
Flame on.
I'm trying to get the perfect Nick Cage film where he's in it just enough, not a load, not enough to overpower it, but enough explosions. And yeah, I wanted to find what was good, what needed working on from the first film, and just add on to that.
So what was it that we needed to work on from the first film that you worked on?
It was Nicolas Cage's character. I don't think he had and the length of his hair. I didn't mention that, but again, it's down to his hip now.
No, I want that retracted. I mentioned that in my pitch. You can't bring it in suddenly because I asked and mine was a great idea.
Fighting, but I doubt he even has a line in your film.
He doesn't need lines. He just kicks ass. Plus, we don't want him delivering lines. That was one of the biggest problems in the first movie.
That is a good point. Yeah, you might have me there.
You have to give him lines. I don't.
No, Nick, we didn't pay you to speak.
I would like for you to, I feel like you could have been onto something, but we didn't really explore it. Was the daddy-daughter relationship? He just sounds like really generic, stereotypical dad. So how are you going to make it so that Nicolas Cage is more than stereotypical dad?
No, I don't want to. That's his journey. We don't need to. We're not.
That isn't a journey. That's been done a million times.
Yeah, it's fine. We can do it 1,000,001. It's going to be fine.
Well, there you go. You heard it, Ross. He doesn't
it's going to be the relationship
to
between
fulfill his
daddy
contractual
and daughter.
promise.
This is a well-known story and a new, fresh take, but the same story with a fresh take.
We were promised by you a character journey, and you just blatantly said, "We'll do it for 1,000,001 times." I'm going to do the same bullshit film thing where the dad's just jealous.
Even Trisha has a story in this. She's against it at first, and then she's back in it, and then she's never heard from again.
Fair. That is a better character journey than the dad being the generic dad for the 1,000,001st time.
He needs to let the daughter go and grow up.
I offer you a very unique relationship between a dad and a daughter.
Unique is definitely a word.
I offer you something that hasn't been done before. Will really get people talking.
People would not be disturbed by watching my coupling. That's all I'd say.
They might be.
Right. I want you to give me one thing that you hate about the other one's pitch. Just because it'll make me laugh.
This is all about Nicolas Cage again.
This is not about Nicolas Cage.
That's so bullshit.
Matt, I think as well. Matt tries to go back to known territory. He says, so it's in the air again. I'm trying to bring something new. It's by the ocean, and you have similar. You go to Vegas again. Learn that there's a whole world out there, Matt, that you could crash loads of planes into.
I did that on purpose because we're 24 years after the first one, and this is a massive homage to the first movie by taking us back to all those really iconic scenes. You've decided
not even
to
in
make
it half the fucking movie.
Maritime. You didn't even go with Con Sea or Con Ocean. Not even something that sounds good. Con Maritime, Con
Cruiser.
followed by
Cruiser
Con Motorway. Motorway.
Con Motorway.
I gave you the best one to make your third film, and you didn't even use it.
What? Con Ocean.
Contract.
No, because there's no contract. That's why you said, admittedly, you said that 2 minutes before we started recording, and I was like, shit, can I change my fucking pitch so it's based on a contract?
No, that's your third movie. I gave you the third movie. You just went Con Maritime.
I'm
going to go with Con. I'm going to go with Con Sailing Boat.
Cruiser. You promised me before the air.
To be fair, wait, hold on.
It was an aircon salesman, and I was looking forward to that.
To be fair, Matt, yours is literally called Con Air Con.
Because the
I
aircon
can't see that on
plays the most important part in it, because that's where the knockout drug comes from.
And then it's mentioned again at the end.
It's one bit in your movie.
Doesn't matter, the aircon. And it's 2 bits, because Nicolas Cage says it in his final closing monologue, actually. So
yeah, he doesn't want to use
speak in my movie, Andy. Nicolas Cage
every
speaks
time
in
he gets
movie.
Every time he does something, he just doesn't want to do it ever again. I don't like planes anymore. I don't like aircon anymore. Dad, it's like 70 degrees in here. Shut up.
Yeah.
He's glad that his daughters are cold all the time and doesn't put the aircon on. It's great.
I love that your title is based on the one bit of the film where
it's the most important part of the film, because without the aircon, without modern technology and air conditioning, the gas wouldn't seep through the plane as well and knock everybody out at the same time.
I mean, they could have just released it, on the plane, and it would have gone.
No, it's got to be more subtle than that. You can't just drop a gas grenade anymore on a plane.
Couldn't they put it in like the O2, so when the masks fell out and everyone was panically breathing it in, and then that
creates too much of that creates too much.
It takes away the title, admittedly.
The plane's falling down. No, we just use something as modern and as normal as aircon in a plane to cause complete panic and widespread knockout stuff.
I would love action movies to use this method and just like Die Hard, guns.
Yeah, hard dying. That's the second one.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's fucking brilliant. Like, you could have so much fun marketing this movie.
What are you going to go with the third one now? You've got aircon and Con Air. You can't go back again. Con Air.
Con Aircon.
Air-conned, and then it's about the person. We find out that whoever put the air conditioning unit in that plane built it and was paid off by Steve Buscemi. Air-conned. Boom. Yes, we've got it.
Because nothing says
a whole different franchise.
Because nothing says action than aircon.
Air conditioning units.
Air conditioning units.
Hey, it worked to Die Hard. Let's bring it back in every film.
This is a conspiracy theory.
Well,
These
I've just
aircon
created
units.
A full universe here. We can go right into the, can go into the dirty side of sales and retail and how you make your money. Espionage, this is, mate. This is more than just an action movie now. This is an espionage movie.
Right, I think I made my decision. I do like, Matt, I do like yours. I like the whole, female lead and the whole... I do think, however, that the relationship she has with... it's a bit hard because I feel like, we're trying to glamorize these killers again. And, I don't know. I just feel it's a bit of a weird thing.
I mean, she's meant to be an uber psychopath. That perhaps doesn't come across. She's not a protagonist. She's an antagonist.
Okay, good. And Andy's, I like yours. I think you've got the sort of homage-y sort of action of that ilk without it being offensive. It is a little bit too generic. So I think, however, for me, I want to go and see the movie that Andy has pitched. As much as I really want to see Con Air, Aircon.
Yeah, there will definitely be some way of getting air conditioning into my... I'm definitely stealing fucking aircon.
Oh,
That's
can that be what makes the fireball? It's the air conditioning unit.
Yes, gas goes through it. Yeah, definitely.
6.
And
as
then
long as I
that's
get
your
my
movie
5%, I'm happy, boys.
So Andy's is the winning pitch. Well done, Andy.
Hey, Con Cruiser.
Con Cruiser.
Can't believe you voted Con Cruiser over Aircon. What is this shit?
Well done, Andy. So, Andy, what are we going to be doing as our next episode of Sequel Pitch?
So I think next week we should go a little bit darker, maybe, but let's cross it over with maybe a little bit of superhero.
Ooh.
I want to see Joker's... that just gave it away, I guess. I want to see sequels for Todd Phillips' Joker, which came out 2 years ago now, I think. I believe there is one in the works, but it's definitely going to be a long time coming. And it's interesting because it's a lot of people have said this shouldn't have a sequel, and some say it should. So I'll be very interested to see where you guys go.
Some say it should never have existed in the first place.
Oh, I'm sure we will talk about that more on the episode.
Okay, so we'll be doing Joker next time, and I think, boys, we might have a special guest. Yes.
First one of the new year.
Yeah. It is Sab Astley. Now, they've been in contact with us to see if they can guest on our podcast. They are an entertainment and culture journalist writing for the Film Hounds mag, Cinerama Film, and they've done articles for, I think, Radio Times and the Digital Flicks, Certified Forgot, and Massive Cinema. So, so you have got a lot. Well, I've got a lot to live up to with our sequels for Joker 2. If they're going to be the judge host, that will be interesting.
Oh God!
So.
Yes.
Now they're gonna have to be really deep.
Yeah, we got another reviewer on, boys. We got to look good. Come on.
Oh God! All right. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, for listening to this week's episode of Sequel Pitch. I've been Ross. If you want to tell us what your Con Air sequel would be, if you think Matt should have won, let us know. If you think Aircon should have won, let us know.
If you can think of a better title, let us know, because I honestly think Aircon is probably the best we're going to get. So please let us know.
So that's all from us. Please follow us on our socials, Instagram, Twitter. If you could, it'd be massively appreciative if you could give us a review on iTunes. Tell your friends about it. You know, that's the only way this podcast is going to grow. If you can tell your friends about it, say, hey, I listened to this really random podcast with a load of boys from England. Do you want to listen to it? And, you know, maybe someone might listen to it. So that'd be great. Let our podcast family grow. So without further ado, it's goodbye from Matt Rushton.
Goodbye. Thank God they don't have the aircon on.
And it's goodbye from this week's winner, Andy Henry.
Fireball!
And it's goodbye from me. Bye! Bye.